All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the City of Desert Hot Springs Public Safety Commission meeting for Thursday, May 12th, 2022 at 6 p.m. And we will call the meeting to order. Can we get a roll call, please?
Commissioner Eastman.
Here.
Commissioner Lozano. Here. Commissioner Mitchell.
Here.
Vice Chair Muse.
Yes.
Chair Meyer.
Yes. Okay, thank you. All right, let's go ahead and move to the Pledge of Allegiance. Donna, would you lead us, please?
Certainly.
Thank you.
Hand over your heart, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you, Donna. All right. Okay, approval of the agenda. Anybody see anything they want to move around or take off or?
I'll make a motion, we approve the agenda.
Okay, do we have a second?
Okay, me.
Okay. Are we going to vote electronically, Carmsy?
Yes.
We're going to vote, okay.
It should be on your screen.
There we go. There it is. All right. You got to hit your 4 button there. There you go. Okay. Did you vote, Donna?
Yeah. I can't reach the dog.
There we go.
There you go. Okay, and then we have the minutes attached from the April 14th meeting. So anybody have any issues with what happened with those, or we all good?
I'll make the motion, we approve the minutes.
Okay, we have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. There we go. All right, good deal. Everybody voting? Did you hit one of the 3? You got to hit one of the 3, Brian.
I did.
There you go.
Motion passes for minutes and the agenda.
Awesome. All right, we're good to go. Do we have any public comment cards?
No, we do not.
No? Do you want to make one? Fill one out? Well, there's not a lot of action here, but we're always willing to have some, so. We're pretty good listeners, okay? Yeah, we do a good job at it. So, okay, we don't have any public comments cards? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and skip that. We'll move on to new business, Public Safety Commission summer schedule. So I wanted to put this on here because, as a former commissioner once reminded me, if it's not on the agenda, we can't talk about it. So I know that, is City Council taking a meeting or 2 off? When are they taking their meeting off? Do you know, Steve?
Mid-July through August,
Yeah.
and back in September.
Oh, really?
Wow.
I need that gig.
Yeah, so all of August and the second meeting in July.
Okay, so we know that, so the way I kind of look at it is if we do, we could take a month off before council, or you can, I mean, you know, because if we have a recommendation, we send it up to council and then they take a month and a half off, you know, where's it going to end up? So it's just something to keep in mind, like the timing of when they're taking theirs is to whether, if you want to meet all summer, I'm good for all summer. You know, I leave it up to you. Any discussion?
Yeah.
Brian?
You know, you are going out in June, and are you going to be on Zoom or Skype, or is there only going to be 4 of us? Oh, sorry. You are going on out in June,
Uh-huh.
and are you going to be available, are you going to be on Zoom? Or if you're not, then that means there's only 4 of us.
For the June meeting, and that's actually on
Otherwise,
item number 3.
Oh.
I'm having surgery, so I'm going to be on pain meds. So I don't think I should be on anything when I don't want to. Yeah, I learned a very good lesson: never be on a public microphone when you've been drinking or have pain meds. So I'm not going to be present for that meeting. Period.
So the question is, obviously, I mean, I don't mind running it. I look forward to actually doing it, but not having all 5 here, you know, if something comes arises, You know,
Oh,
I would
I
say if
see.
we're going to take
I
off
see where you're
before
going.
that, I'd say take June out, because then July, they're gone, and August, but I would like to do the July and August, come back September too. I'm just saying, that's just my opinion, so.
I mean,
I'm
everyone's
still-
got, I'm sure some people have plans for the summer, so is there,
I do.
is any of this going to mess up anyone's plans, or what do you guys think?
I'm going to be here, but I think we should at least have a month off somewhere
Okay,
because it's going to be a hot month and nothing too exciting should be happening.
okay. You got a recommendation?
I can recommend August of this year because it's my birthday month.
Oh, okay, works for me.
That way, I think it's pretty hot and
Pretty nasty, maybe,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, all right. Okay, yeah, Ken?
August is fine with me. I mean, I'll go with, I mean, why not? We've taken a day, at least a month every time we've done this.
yeah, I agree with
I'll
that.
say that. And August is as good as any other month. Since it's your birthday, my goodness, that's a,
I still am the senior
just my
inspiration of the
opinion.
year, you know.
I'm going to Vegas in August, so yeah, August is a good
See,
month.
there you go.
Okay, Ken?
Well, I guess the precedent was set last year. I think we went dark in August.
Was it?
Yeah, I think we went dark in August last year, so that's fine with me.
What a memory.
Okay,
Are
so,
we worried about June though?
No,
no, you're all gonna be here in June, it's,
all
you'll have
here.
a quorum, so.
Yeah.
I think you should have a June meeting, I
I
really do.
think so, too,
you know,
yeah.
absolutely. So, all right, let's, someone wanna make a motion that we, go dark in August, and then we can, do a vote?
Okay, I'll make a motion. We go dark in August and come back in September.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Motion passes.
Okay, excellent. All right, so we'll be dark in August. Reference item number 3, we just discussed it, yeah, I've got to be out, so,
You gonna be okay?
oh yeah, I'm just having a knee replacement, it's no big deal, so, but like I said, they say there's lots of pain meds, so,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to be around with that going on, so, so Brian, you're going to be running it,
yeah, sounds fun to me.
yeah,
I'm just following the script.
that's,
Then who's your chairman for the day?
You are?
oh yeah, you want to make a co-chair, a vice chair,
Yeah,
temporary vice
I'll
chair?
do that too. How's
Thanks,
that?
Donna.
Okay,
So you'll be co-chair.
yeah, Donna's run meetings, she knows what to do.
Don will help you.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so,
There you go.
okay, so no other discussions needed on item number 3.
Okay, June,
So-
okay. We're good.
Cool. All right, good deal. Let's go back to old business, and we had some stuff that we didn't really touch on at the last meeting because we had such an extensive agenda. So let's go to item number 4.
Mr. Chair, excuse me, would you like to vote on the previous item? On the June 22?
You know what? No, I think it was just an information thing that I'm going to be out, and that Brian is vice chair is going to take over. So then we all got a good plan for it. So I think we're set.
Okay, thank you.
That'd be fine.
Unless someone wants to make a motion, you're going to try and force me here.
Yeah.
Look at Lee. He's going to do it, aren't you?
Look at, uh-oh. I see a
Don't
hand
do it.
Brian's
going
hand
up.
going up.
Brian's hand
You
is
guys are
going
having a
up.
conversation over here. I know what you're talking about.
Call me later. So, no, I don't think we need a vote on it.
We don't need a
No.
vote on
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and move to number 4, public safety notifications. And I think, Ken, that was what you had brought that up. And
Yeah, I had brought that up quite some time ago.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the unofficial consensus of the group was that there was some reluctance to actually have commissioners respond to the scenes of emergencies, but there was going to be an exploratory effort on the part of perhaps the chief officers that are in attendance today can talk about that they were going to go back to their dispatch centers and see if there was a way that at least we could be notified of significant incidents within the jurisdiction. And maybe I could start with Chief Beverlin, if was there any information that you were able to obtain in that regard?
So it wasn't through the dispatch center. It would be a notification. It would be automatically pushed. In talking with city staff, I'm not sure where that request is at.
Okay, all right. And I think we touched on it as well with Chief Shaw. And was there any information that you had obtained?
No, Chief Evelyn, that was it. It's any type of notification that would come from city staff, and my understanding, I thought that's where it went, and there was supposed to be some discussion with city staff about how they were going to do that. And I haven't done any follow-up. I certainly can with them
Okay.
to see where they're at, but that's where that notification should come from.
All right. Yeah, I'm be curious as to what path would be followed as to what part of city staff would actually spearhead that, you know? Because I believe it would be a technological matter. You know, of course, we have Gerald. He's kind of the in-house technological expert, so we can follow up with him and see if there's any direction we can take from that point. Maybe we can expedite the process and have a answer sooner than later.
Okay. Anybody else got a comment?
No, I'm in agreement that we should be notified one way or another, but also we won't go there because it does, just confuse the issues.
Right, we don't want to
But I
constipate the
think
process.
it is important. I've had people call me, what happened last night? I don't even know, things like that. And I feel that we should know, be aware, at least.
Lee?
No comment. I'm sorry, I go along the same with Donna. If it's, either you guys give us notification, fine. If we can't get, what can we do?
Yeah, I think, one, we've stepped up our social media campaign and are getting more information out on social media when there's an event. The press releases that we put out, they're not necessarily right after the event. There's some additional information sometimes we have to gather, so sometimes it might be the next day or something. Now, I know for the press releases, those are being sent over to the deputy city manager and then shared with city council. And we try and give them at least a few hours lead time on notification on those before they can go out. And I think that discussion with the deputy city manager may be the one to have to share that information with you. But if it's an active event, whether it be something, fire or something like that, or a car crash, or some sort of shooting or something like that, we're getting that information pushed out also on social media. If it's something that rises to the level that either myself or Chief Henson is notifying other city staff, such as the deputy city manager, then I think that's where the discussion should go, is who are they notifying, and maybe put you in the mix of that notification. But I don't know how they're doing their notification, whether it's phone calls or texts or email and stuff. So that'll be something to follow up on.
Yeah, understood.
Okay, good, that makes sense.
I got a comment. I would, personally for myself, I would step back. I don't need to be notified, only because I have a relationship with the police department. And I am notified at 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 a.m. And, I don't want to cross that bridge, unfortunately. Maybe if I wasn't working with the police department, that would be different. So I would, for me personally, I wouldn't want a notification because
Well,
it's
you're
not for me
getting it
to.
already.
Huh?
You're getting it already.
I am, but it's not for me to tell to the public. I don't feel I have the authority to say, yeah, this is what happened. I don't want to be a spokesperson when it comes to that.
The next day?
After it's been released on social media news, I would report what I see on social media, not any more, not any less, because that's what I'm required to do.
Don't agree.
No
Thank you.
details.
Ken, do you have anything
Yeah,
else?
I'll go along with that.
I mean, I've got
Chief
something to
said.
add, but I want to make sure you got.
Well, in general agreement with the vice chair, is that especially in matters of law enforcement, there's legal requirements. Certain details about what's going on cannot be divulged because it's going to wind up in court, So whatever notification would be provided would be very generic. It would be police emergency at intersection, and that's it. No more, no less. So certainly what Vice Chair Muse is saying is correct. But as far as other types of emergencies, fires, it relates to the notion, at least in my opinion, to government transparency. Because as Donna mentioned earlier, we do get questions as to, hey, what's going on at Palm and Pearson? What happened there? How come I couldn't get home from work? And, why are there 5 fire trucks there? Is that a 5-alarm fire? And those sorts of things. And you want to be able to say, well, there was an incident at this.
That's good enough.
And I can't divulge the details for legal reasons, but yes, something did happen.
Yeah.
And
So maybe what we're maybe what you're looking at is a system that would be the same as city council, so we're not recreating a system, right?
Correct.
Thank you.
Correct.
B, it has to be one way only.
Mhm.
So the 5 of us cannot communicate in violation of the Brown Act, right?
Correct. Yes.
And then third, there should be ability to opt out. So if you don't want to be getting Chief Beverland's, hey, there's a fire at 3 a.m.
I get it, exactly. Or if
Yeah.
I'm called to the scene, I've got to opt out automatically.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you don't want to be, there has to be an ability, if you don't want to be part of that system, then, like, personally, I would opt out.
Me too.
Yeah, I have no desire to get those, you know, if I'm sure if it's going to impact me directly, and if people call me, I'll just say, hey, I'll find out later and let you know, but.
Thank you.
But, I mean, but I agree with Ken, there should be an opportunity for transparency there, so, I don't know. You know what? One of us should probably take the time to go, talk to maybe Doria, huh? Is what because she does all the
Deputy
press
city manager.
releases.
Okay.
I
So,
like that idea.
yeah, would someone like to volunteer to make an appointment with Doria and sit down and help her figure it out?
Sure, I'll do that.
I could,
Okay,
okay.
all right. Do we need to make a motion to appoint Ken? You want to do that?
Make a motion.
I'm looking at Carmen Z, she's like, yeah, I think you better do that, so. Okay, someone want to make a motion to appoint Ken as our liaison to
I would
work on
like
this?
to make a motion to appoint Ken as our liaison.
Okay. We have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Ken has the parameters, so he knows what to ask for, what to work out, so
Sure. Thank you.
you got it. We ready to vote? There we go.
Motion passes.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, item number 5 under old business is community outreach meetings, and this was brought to us a couple months ago by Councilman Betts, and he mentioned that some of the city departments and entities are getting out of the chambers and going to different places and holding their meetings. I'm not sure, I can't remember, were they actually holding their actual meetings in these other locations?
They
Please.
did this a few years ago. They went to different locations, like some of these gated communities, auditoriums where they could get a gathering. He put a notice out that the police department will be there, and they'll discuss what's going in the city, in the police department area. And the chief would show up, or somebody, one of the sergeants or whoever wants to show up and give a talk. It actually worked pretty good. I went to several of them myself, because at the time I was on the council, on the commission. But they worked out pretty well. People were impressed with it. They enjoyed it. They got to meet the chief. A lot of times the chief showed up. I hate to say it that way, but a lot of times it was the chief because he could talk to the people, and usually it was a pretty good crowd. You get 50, 60 people there. So, I mean, it's not like half a dozen people show up. The ones that we put on, they were made sure that we had a group there, because they'd make sure of that before they come out. There'd be a liaison with somebody, with the chief, whoever goes out there. And if it's a no-show or not very many people, then just cancel it. But it did work. It's a bad idea. We quit doing it simply because, well, a lot of reasons. Because we lost a lot of police officers at the time. We were darn near broke, and well, we were broke. And then, this COVID-19, everything come together, and we quit doing it. But it's something, I don't know, it's up to the police department if they want to do something like that. But it seemed to work. That's all I can say, because you go to different areas of the city. Some you go south and, east, west, and find a place where you could hold it. Like in this case, the one I've attended a lot of them, but we have down at the Vista Montana, at their clubhouse. Had a really nice turnout there. And we had a couple around, like Skyborn, I think, had one. And places like that, and people went to those things, and they could hear what was going on. So, I mean, that's one way I can put it.
I
And
think,
we also had public outreach as well with the police department, and I know you were out there barbecuing, Don Kelly, where we had the police, and it was a community event as well. I mean, that's the type of outreach I'd like to see. I mean, we just had one VFW, and nobody showed up. I mean, just the police, fire, and a couple COPs.
Well, see,
and,
that's,
I mean,
that's bad.
That's bad.
That really, they really should know that, so,
It has to be local in the city, you know, whether it's Tedesco Park, Bonds Shopping Center, there where public eyes can see, meet, greet.
yeah.
What do people want? People want free stuff, hot dogs, whatever. I mean, and
I know a couple of places where they had, I don't know, there's one place, another place, apartment buildings. I don't know the name of the place, I forget, but they had one there in their meeting room, and it was nice. It
I
was a good
think
turnout.
we're getting off track. I think
a
what
little.
Councilman Betts was talking about was having a public, like, we would have our regular Public Safety Commission meeting here, our monthly, and then we would have a second meeting of the Public Safety Commission
Oh, really?
at another
Oh,
location.
That's right.
So maybe you would do it at Tedesco Park, or you would do it at one of the local churches, or you would go to Sky's
good idea.
Haven, or, and so there would be, like, every 3 months, there'd be a second Public Safety Commission meeting. So people who like this gentleman couldn't get out today, can't get out on a Thursday night. Thank you for coming, though, it's awesome. And I think that's what Councilman Betts was talking about, having a second meeting, like every 3 or 4 months somewhere, you know?
Oh, roadshow.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about. So you bring your commission business into different areas that
Yeah, not what we
maybe
were just talking
maybe you go up to
about.
Don English Way, to the apartment complex up on Don English Way, or go do it at the school next to Don English Way. So you get all the Hacienda Heights people, the people who live in Don English Way, and all, you know, the apartments up there and stuff like that. I think that's what Councilman
I
Betts
would-
was shooting
you know,
for.
I'd like to definitely re-look at this. I mean, we are coming into the summer months, maybe back when we start looking in September, October, because we're coming into the hot months, nobody's
Yeah, I
going to be
agree with
showing
that.
up.
People are going to
Yeah, so let's revisit this for sure.
Okay, so would you all like to see it back on the September agenda?
Yes.
Yes,
I say
All right.
so.
very good.
So when we bring it back in September, maybe some of us could have like some proposed months,
Yeah.
like not December, but maybe
November
October.
or
Yes, October's always a
December.
good
Yeah.
Oktoberfest.
December, you'll probably face many of the same challenges you're going to face over
Yeah,
the summer.
and then maybe
for the
like
same reasons.
February or something, because we're all still recovering from January, right? So I just would say, let's maybe think about it and have some months to talk about when we bring it back for
Yeah,
the
like National Night
September
Out.
agenda.
Yeah.
Oh, great
Yeah.
idea, great
That-
idea.
That's just off the top of my head,
Yeah,
so.
no, I like it. We could actually do it on National
We sure
Night
could.
Out. Yeah.
Just a
I
quick
agree.
question on it. Would this additional meeting, these roadshow meetings, would they have the same officiality? I don't even know if that's a word, as
Oh,
these
I don't-
meetings
We
here?
would, yeah, because
Yeah,
if the
wouldn't
five of us, more than 3 of us are there, or 2 of us are there, we have to agendize it. So we
Right.
would have to agendize it, and we could maybe pick one topic for that meeting, so it's not,
Right.
we would just agendize one thing, maybe not agendize all of the reports, since we'll do those earlier, and do it maybe in that kind of format. What do you think?
That sounds good.
And you would have to still come.
Right? Because then we still have to vote, and they still have to be,
We need the
People to
boss.
show
The
up.
boss
We
has
need the
got to
boss,
be
like,
there,
you
so.
gotta be
yeah.
Okay, why don't we bring that back
So
in
what do you
September,
think?
and hopefully some of you will remember what I just said, so, okay. All right, cool deal. All right, let's go ahead and move to administrative reports. Item number 6, is that okay? Oh, no, you're okay with your notifications, right? So we took care of that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. All right, okay, let's go to item number 6, the Animal Control Monthly Report, please.
Good evening. The animal control, we had 122 calls for service, resulting in 26 citations, 2 bite reports. We did a total of 29 licenses. We had 47 intakes. 3 animals were seized, 4 owner surrenders. We had 2 adoptions, 6 sent to rescue, 22 returned to owner. We had 13 taken to the vet. There was an error in the numbers on those taken to county. There was actually only 1, and that was for a bite quarantine. There were 4 animals euthanized that were either injured or diseased. We had a total of 18 DOAs, and that's it. Any questions for me?
All right, questions for Animal Control?
Are you guys never busy?
Are we never busy? Yeah, right.
I think it's a great report, actually. It's amazing where you say 22 given back to their owners. What's happening? What do they got out of the yard or something like that, or?
Yeah, The majority of them are just loose dog calls, and, you know, a good many of them are actually microchipped, and those that are not microchipped before they're returned to the owners, we microchip them at the shop.
Oh,
So,
great. And euthanized would be because they were too ill or,
well, three of
Injured?
them were puppies that had parvo,
oh,
and one was a dog that was picked up that had a fractured spine, so it was unrecoverable. So,
okay.
Okay.
I'm good.
Other questions for animal control?
This report is all right, but I'd like to see something where it's broke down monthly, where you can see what happened like last month, the month before. So it's kind of like the police report, where you see what happened like last month, you had so many of these, then this month you did
Oh,
more or
right.
less or whatever. Is there some, I know it's more work.
sure, we can add a
But
column
you-
to that
you
and just
understand
show
what I'm
quarter,
saying?
like 3
Like-
months at a span.
Like you can
or-
read across monthly.
Sure, no problem.
Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, Ken?
I think I've asked this question before. I don't see anything with regards to the SNP bus. Do we still entertain them for service here?
The SNP bus is no longer coming here because they want too much money for the city to have the SNP bus come here. Animal Action League is still coming to our parking lot. They were just here this month. They performed 29 spay and neuter procedures on Tuesday the 7th. And we're trying to get them to come back again in June, because what happens in the summertime, they won't come because it's too hot in their trailer to do the surgery. But yes, the Animal Action League is the only one that's still coming here, but the SNP bus is not coming here anymore.
No, that's news to me. All right, very well, thank you.
Okay. Brian? No? Okay, the only question I had is I know in the past, we've been getting reports from Chief Shaw that you guys were kind of hurting, had some people out injured and stuff like that. How you doing on staffing?
Well, we have myself and Officer Talley. We've got a couple of temp hires that are helping with the cleaning. But other than that, that's what we're working with.
Okay, all right. Well, you guys are doing a good job for what you got. And
Yes, sir.
you're still doing a heck of a better job than what we had. Those of us who
Right.
were here when we had the county, it was, yeah, seeing at least 22 pups got back to their owners, that's very cool. So,
Right.
So that's a good thing. So, okay, anything else for animal control?
No.
All right, let's move on to item number 7, code compliance.
Good evening. In the month of April, we had 100 service requests. We completed 465 inspections. We issued a total of 98 courtesy notices of violation and 38 citations totaling $19,200.
Okay. And we noticed you had a couple projects that you listed in the report there, the one on Acoma and the one on Palm Drive.
Yeah, so our officers have moved to a portal-based sort of system where they're able to utilize their iPads fully. They do not need to come into the office for anything except for signing citations and doing mailings at the end of the day. So it's given them the ability to be a lot more reactive for the first time in probably 5 years. So we're seeing a lot of change.
Yeah, I remember Cliff Levy asking for those about 6 years ago, and so somewhere in Ohio, Cliff's all happy now, probably. Hopefully he's listening. So also, Cliff, you got your keep clear area there at the Vaughn's, left turn into the Vaughn's parking lot. So, you know, hey, we get things done. It takes us a little bit of time, but we get them done. All right, questions for code?
No, good. It
No.
always, the both before and afters are always great. Really, whoever does all that is doing a job.
Brian?
I just want to say they're doing a fantastic job. Christine
Right.
and her staff are doing an amazing job. And I know they only have so many people, but, you know, thank you for all the work that you guys are
Right.
doing.
Thank you.
Ken?
Well, sure, that was, to follow up with that, 465 inspections, and there's 30 days in April. I know, that's hoofing it. And what's your staffing like, that you're able to accomplish that?
That's a
We
good
have
question.
2 full-time code officers and 2 part-time officers currently.
Really? Okay. That's
465.
impressive.
Are you actually going there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I just want to say that you're doing a good job.
Absolutely.
It's hard to keep yourself above this, but you're hanging in there and doing a fantastic job, I think.
Thank you
And
very
just
much.
keep up the good work, because you've got plenty of it out there. And
That's very true.
you seem like you never stop. But if you don't do it that way, we're going right down where we were. So
I
you're doing a
have
great job.
Thank you. I have a great staff.
All right, so Christina, I got a question that maybe some other people in town have. Like, we have that house down the street from mine that got raided because they were growing marijuana. Anyway. It was funny. Everybody in the neighborhood knew but me, so until someone called me. But the thing is I know the house got red tagged, but the other day the truck of the person who was doing all of that there was back there in the front yard, and so was another vehicle. Is there a way for like those people who have had their home red tagged, whether it was for an illegal reason or not, to be able are they able to like get permission to come back to the house or to do repairs, or how does that, is that something people should call if they see somebody at a house like that?
Typically, so if we amend the red tag will actually say that it is amended to allow for construction during these hours, or for the homeowner or property owner to access the property for these specific reasons. But it'll always imply that there is some sort of amendment to the red tag. Typically, the red tag will be a different placard level, so it'll be like a yellow tag if we provide access. So if you see a red tag and people are at the property, typically they're not supposed to be.
Yeah, see, on that property, they came back the next day and they ripped the red tag off of it. And yeah, I mean,
So
everyone in our neighborhood
definitely
knows.
call and report
So
that.
you would like to have your office called if somebody has that same problem in their neighborhood?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'll give my wife your number and she'll call when I show
Sure.
up. So, okay,
I have a question.
please.
Again, on Little Morongo Road from Pearson to, what is it, Ironwood or Hacienda?
Two Bunch Palms?
Two Bunch Palms, reeks. And that's just too much. I mean, I have my windows up and my, the little vents closed and everything, and it just was coming right through. And I wasn't the only person that noticed that, just so you know. But
Yeah.
it just was horrible.
I actually believe that is from an illegal grow nearby. I went out personally 2 days ago. It's not directly in front of any of our facilities on Little Morongo.
Right.
Then I had a cannabis compliance officer go out today, and also it is not from any of those facilities along Little Morongo, but I did get the odor closer to the county side. So we did still do some outreach to the facilities, but I do not believe it's coming from any of the licensed facilities.
So you can't do anything because it's the county? I don't know. What do you do? Do you report that?
Yeah, we will report it to county code enforcement,
Okay. All right. Thank you.
of course.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
No, and I noticed they're doing a whole bunch of work at the Lindays, so they got dumpsters going in and out of there like crazy, so. Is there any hope for that building to stay, or?
Yeah, so the receiver that was appointed has been permitted by the judge to oversee the sale of the property. And so any buyers that are interested, we are referring them to the receiver currently. Part of, this cleanup is to showcase the property for sale.
Awesome. Okay, great. Thank you. All right. Let's move on to item number 8, the fire department. Chief?
Well, good evening, Commissioners. For the month of April, I had a total of 417 calls for service. 317 of those calls, the local jurisdiction responded to those. Engine 37 provided 83 mutual aids, and the city received 341 mutual aids from outside the city. The average response time for April was 4.94 minutes, which is 62% of 5 minutes or less, 90% of the time. We also had several significant incidents in the month of April. Some structure fires, a commercial vehicle fire, and unless there's any questions about the incident reports, just wanted to kind of let you know some of the things that are going on in the area. So first I'll see if there's any questions from the report.
Okay, anyone have questions for the chief?
Chief, are you seeing, as we're getting towards emergency, I see it like the traffic collisions look up a little bit, so are you getting more calls for that? Obviously, 31.
Yeah, I think that's probably pretty much on par, maybe up 5 or something, but generally speaking, they're somewhere between 25 and 35, I think, monthly.
Okay, and while we're looking at the report, I mean, it just says traffic collision, but there's no way to really say it's a major, where it'd be like a fatality or just traffic collision. I mean, anything could be a traffic collision.
So if it was a significant traffic collision where it shut down a roadway for more than 30 minutes, or there was a fatality or a significant injury, down below where it says significant incidents, there would be a listing there for anything like that. So I believe there was one for a vehicle accident in the month of April.
All right, thank you for clarifying.
Yes, sir?
I
Go ahead,
also
Don.
see that we only have the month of April and not prior months, so we can see if we're doing better or less or more or whatever. Can you also do that too, or?
So what we've done up to this point was we've done the monthly one, and then we review a quarter at a time. So we reviewed the quarterly report last month, and this is the first month of quarter number 2.
Okay.
But I'm happy to do it however the commission would like.
I like it. I like to see prior months all the time because then I could see what's happening. I don't know, that's just me. What do you guys think? Men think?
It's fine with me, whatever the group wants.
There you go. We would like prior months all the time. Thank you.
So
You know,
one prior month, 2 prior months?
2 is
3
good, I think.
2 prior
Yeah,
months
2
plus
is
the month that we're talking about.
correct. Is that a really hard thing to do?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Oh, okay. Well,
I got somebody that handles that.
It seems as though that we did have that before, prior months.
I just know of the quarterly reviews. So.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Ken?
I had a question regarding one of the significant incidents.
Yes, sir.
It looks like one of these incidents, you had a report of multiple people, respiratory distress, and, that's maybe going along the lines of a hazardous materials incident. We have an unknown with injuries. I was curious, how do you guys, when you do emergency decontamination, do you have a designated rig that responds and has that responsibility, or do you have emergency decontamination capability on both your engines here in Desert Hot Springs?
So we do not have a dedicated engine or ambulance or anything like that that would do emergency decon. All of our responders on every piece of equipment is first responder operations plus decon certified. So everybody has the ability to do that. In the hazmat field, with our hazmat response team, they're a type 1 hazmat team. We have a decon trailer that can be brought out to the site. It's this giant inflatable showers and the whole 9 yards inside of it with hot water heaters and everything. Problem is that it just seems like wherever that thing gets stored at, the incident's on the other side of the county.
Always.
The emergency decon, typically what we do is we just set up some tarps in between an engine and have people go through and get a shower of pump water.
Right.
And then generally speaking, we have Tyvek suits that we have them change into. And that's pretty much the way it rolls right now. So for the item that you're talking about, I believe there was a pail of fertilizer spilled in one of our local establishments. It was immediately cleaned up appropriately by the cleanup team at the facility, and I think there were 3 or 4 people that initially complained, but later just signed out AMA.
Okay.
I like these significant incidents report. It's very well done, very clear, and I like that.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Sure, and that would be going back to what we were discussing earlier in the meeting, that would be an example of an incident that we'd want to have a notification of.
Correct,
So,
correct.
thank you for that.
Okay. Lee?
Thank you.
No, I have nothing, but I do want to make a comment on the animal control if I can.
Please.
Because I had a lot of comments lately that you guys are doing a good job. I mean, the neighbors in the city. I just want to let you know they're saying you guys are really, and they were impressed. That a few years ago we had dogs running all over the place, and it's just so much nicer now. So I had some comments like that, and that's what I want to hear. If either that or traffic's too fast. So okay, that's kind of where we're at there. So I just wanted to tell you that.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, and the only question I had, it was kind of a follow-up to the fire equipment discussion we had last month. And I've gotten a couple calls like, oh my God, the truck's a lot of money. It is, the Quint. We're looking at 18 months, right, Chief? Before that piece of equipment would be ready and available, at a minimum.
I would say that's an accurate statement.
Okay, and so the reality is probably going to be 2 years. So say during that 2 years, we have a huge economic downturn. Just the funds are not going to be there at the end of the day to either purchase that piece of equipment or actually staff it, because staffing, that's going to be what we're staffing now, like 1.8, right? 1.8 million or 1.6? What's our contract? Without the medic?
Because it's going to be staffed with 4 people,
Yeah.
so it's going to be a little bit more, yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be close to 2. So say we have some kind of economic downturn. People are predicting a recession. Who knows how long that'll last? What would our options as the city be as far as purchasing that piece of equipment? Or is that something that once we're locked in, we're going to own a Quint and then we'll have to find someone to sell it to? Or
I don't, the city has asked the county, and, at the last city council meeting, the city council approved it 4-1 that they would ask the county to purchase those 2 pieces of equipment on their behalf. So
Right.
once they're complete and accepted from the county, that's when the city will be responsible to make those payments. So, if something were to occur, the city of Desert Hot Springs has been a longtime partner with County Fire. I'm sure that there could be some discussions, but I'm not at liberty to decide how that would go. It'd probably
No, I
be
understand
from-
that. But my thought process is it's an item that's in demand, not just here. So obviously the fire truck maker would probably be able to find some other purchaser to get us off the hook if financially for it. Like the other guy who's now, he's going to submit his paperwork next week, and he's going to be 2 weeks and 2 years behind us, right? So maybe he would be able to speed up his truck. I'm just making sure that we have some kind of option that if what hits the fan and sources dry up, that we would have an escape plan. And that, shame on us, shame on me, we forgot to ask about that during the last meeting. So I'm just wondering if that's something maybe you can look into and let us know what the options, or let city staff know what the options are if we did have a problem. Is there a knockdown dead date that we now own a chassis, right? Because I know you said they got to find a chassis, and we have to find a drivetrain and all that. So I'm just wondering if there is a knockdown date when you own a truck. Congratulations, it's red, right? And that's something we may want to look into, is because if we do run into a problem, it's better to be prepared ahead of time to know what to do with it.
Yeah, I think,
It's going to be awesome, but
Yeah.
but 2 years from now, who knows where we're going to be?
Sure.
So, yeah.
I'll just say that's a discussion that definitely is not in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And my best guess is that the county executive team and the city executive team would be having to have those conversations. And I don't think it's something that I could shed any light on at
No,
this time.
at the sheriff's department it was helicopters.
Yeah.
Everybody wants one, and they're very expensive, and they're a lot of money, and then all of a sudden budgets change, and we can't have one. So I think it would be a good plan. We maybe have a good plan just in case everything kind of goes south for a little while. So, because it does go south once in a while, huh?
Not going to happen.
I hope. I hope. Okay, thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
All right, anything else for the fire chief?
No?
I actually had a couple more items.
Oh, no, please, go. I'm
So
sorry.
if there was no more questions from the monthly report, we have several bureaus that support the department in many ways, one of those being training, one of those being the Emergency Command Center, one of those being the Emergency Medical Services Bureau. And I don't think that the commission, city council, and the majority of the public get a good idea of the robustness of having a cooperative agreement with the county fire department. So I wanted to reach out to the commission to see if it's something that they are interested in, to maybe have some of my team members from the support side of things come out and do a presentation on their specific field. I don't know if there's any interest in that, but I have done that in the past in some of my other jurisdictions, and some good information out there. So if that's something you're interested in, I would probably get to work on that for fall, to have some of my folks come out and give some presentations.
I'm always for that. More knowledge.
No,
I agree.
okay.
Outstanding idea.
Okay,
Yes.
I'll try to get something calendared for after summer and
Yeah.
get you guys something.
September.
Well, I don't know. You guys could, July's a
We
couple
don't
months
want
away.
you to miss anything.
No, I'll be here in July.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I should be good in July, so,
Okay, whenever he can, yeah.
yeah.
No, I think it's a very good idea. I think coming from the fire side, when you mention public education to a firefighter or anyone in the fire service, the first thing they think of is who's going to wear the Sparky outfit, and who's going to stop, drop, and roll, exit drills in the home, don't play with matches, don't call 911 for fun. You let them shoot with the hose, and then off you go. Adults, we don't get too much of the public education on our side. I think it's an excellent idea, and it's necessary, because you'd be surprised, just the people in the street don't understand what the fire service does. There are so many people that don't understand why do we respond to automobile accidents? Why do we respond to medical calls? When did this change occur? And why are we involved in technical rescue and all this other kind of things? Many people believe that the fire service just responds to fires. Any opportunity we have to educate the public what we do, we need to seize it. And I appreciate you for bringing that up.
Yes, thank you.
Lee?
I agree with the commissioner. We do that with the police, and it's important, but we seem to overlook the fire. And I think that's a very good idea to do. Same idea we're talking about with the fire once in a while, to have some meetings where some people could show up and give kind of talk what you do. What he says, all the small incidental things that the people don't understand. And it's a good idea. But when I was doing my work, all I ever did was protect them so they didn't drive over the hose. That's what we did. So, it's one of those things. But it's something to know, to learn that they're not supposed to drive over that hose. You go around, or you take the direction of what the officer tells you to do. And that doesn't happen a lot of times, but they just don't seem to understand. So it wouldn't hurt to have somebody with that kind of knowledge, fire knowledge, to talk to the fire people, or to the public. So, yeah, I agree.
Basic information, like when you see the lights flashing behind you, move over. People don't think that's a big deal to move over, and they have to understand that they don't know where you need to turn, so you need to move over. A lot of people won't do that. And is that a ticket by any chance? Is it? Yeah, it should be. Yeah.
It definitely should be.
Basic information like that is, important. I
Yes,
think
ma'am.
it's a great idea. Thank you.
We do, the kind of what I was talking about was talking to the public officials about some of the additional things that they don't think that they necessarily know that they get, like some of the bureaus that I just talked
Sure.
about. But we also do, frequently with our law enforcement brothers and sisters, we do coffee with a cop. We do visits to several facilities throughout the year, HOA groups, and do whatever safety information that they would like, talk about smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, exiting drills from the home, all of those things. Those things are always going on in all of in your city and all of the cities. We have our teams out doing that pretty religiously. Mainly what I was talking about was to bring some more information from some of our bureaus so that you can truly see how much support goes in there. There's 1,400 people that are manning the front lines, but we have a whole bunch of people that are supporting that mission. That's pretty much all I have, Commissioners, unless there's any questions.
I'm good, thank you.
No? You did make more work for yourself, Chief, and that wasn't us, okay?
Yeah.
So,
That's not work, that's fun.
okay.
Well, again, it goes back to what we were discussing, not to cut anybody off, it's what we were discussing about the hazardous materials incident. Why is hazmat the purview of the fire service? And perhaps not the purview, or at least in the first response capacity, of law enforcement or military or anything like that. Having been, I was a member of the hazmat team in San Mateo County for 21 years and received the education there. It's the 70% of the chemicals considered hazardous by the Department of Transportation. If they're reacted or released without control, they begin a series of events that culminate in a fire explosion, which puts it, which puts the ball in our hands. Now we've got to run and make yardage with it. So what you're suggesting with the support staff can be the jumping off point, and maybe we can expand into a greater sphere of public education and perhaps answer the questions that the public continues to have even in the present day. Thanks again.
Yes, sir, understood.
Well, all I know is I got deconned by CAL FIRE dozens, if not hundreds of times, and the water was always cold. So it's good to hear there's a water heater in the truck now. So, but sometimes when I got deconned in August, I felt pretty good about that. So, all right. Let's move on to the Police Department monthly report, please.
Good evening, Commissioners. So we'll start with some patrol stats. There's going to be some slight change in the numbers, and I'll let you know when we get to those. And just as a reminder, we've talked about it before, but the numbers come out, and really what you guys get, depending on what day of the month your meeting is, will depend on when we have our final number. So, but anyways, for calls for service, 2,827 calls for service for the month of April for the police department. 667 of those were officer initiated. Those are things such as traffic stops, building checks, vehicle checks, that type of thing. Arrest-wise, a lot of arrests this last month, 34 felony arrests, 5 DUI arrests, and then quite a number, 21 warrant arrests. Citations were down just a little bit, 97 citations from the officers, a few mini-code cites, 8 mini-code cites, and 5 misdemeanor cites. So they're keeping busy both on the proactive and reactive side for the officers. For the crime stats, no huge jump really in anything. No homicides. There was one rape investigation done last month. One of the changes is on the robberies, that changed from 1 to 2. Again, not a huge spike. And then one of the big things, the motor vehicle thefts, still pretty consistent. That changed. It was 9 autos, not 8, but the rest were the same, 4 trucks and 1 other vehicle. So kind of consistent so far for the first 4 months of 2022 in terms of those thefts. Budget-wise, we're wrapping up. We're getting close to the end of the budget cycle, the first year of the 2-year budget cycle. We're at about 85% of the fiscal year. So the police department's at 84% of its budget. Code compliance is at 82% of the budget, and animal control is at 79% of the budget. So we're right on track where we should be. And then just a couple things still going on with the department. The dispatch continues, construction continues. It's moving right along. There were some delays with the 911 systems, but that's been worked out, and actually we've caught back up to our normal construction timeline that we originally had. We're looking at about the middle of June, we should start seeing actual furniture and communication consoles, that type of stuff being installed, and then by the end of June, the dispatch center done. That leaves us July and August to do some training. Both because it's a new 911 system and training for the new dispatchers in the system, and then going live. The plan is still to go live September 1st. We continue with our hiring on that. We are at we're looking for 10 full-time and 4 part-time folks. We've got 2 part-time folks lined up, and 5 full-time folks lined up. So we're still taking applications. We still got several going through backgrounds. That first batch that I just talked about there, all of them have dispatch experience. There's a couple that aren't in law enforcement or the fire side of it. It's in the private sector, so we'll have to send them to the post dispatch training course, but they're coming with some experience. What we're seeing in this next batch, this second batch, is folks without experience. So these are going to be brand new folks. But the dispatch course, it's a 3-week course now, and then we'll be able to intermix those with folks that have experience and stuff like that. So we should have a pretty well-rounded group within the dispatch center. So that's moving along. But we are still taking applications. So if you know anybody or anybody listening, for dispatchers, community service officers, and police officers, continually taking applications. So please apply. I know the VFW was mentioned earlier. I think Vice Chair Muse had mentioned that. There was an event there over last weekend. It was a law enforcement first responders appreciation that they put on for us. But I also wanted to mention, they came to the last city council member and they honored 2 of our police officers. Sergeant Chris Saucier and Officer Paulina Toscano were awarded the Police Officer of the Year Award from the VFW. So it was nice of them to recognize those officers for the work that they're doing. And then at that same meeting, we also recognized, I think I mentioned at the last meeting, a new officer, but he did his swearing in front of council, and that's Officer Gustavo Ramirez. And then we also did a promotion. Our K-9 officer, Anthony Johnson, was promoted to sergeant. So he's taken over his new role in that. That's all I have, but happy to answer any questions.
Questions for the chief? Donna?
Yes, I do. Was it I don't know, when the presentation for the gang was made, whoever it was, he made a great presentation, but that is not what I requested. I requested like activity. Is it better? Is it down? Is it up? I know that, well, Chief Henson was in here, he presented that to us, or had someone present that to us a long time ago, and it was what I wanted to hear. And I've asked and received that over the years all the time. This last time he spoke nothing of that except how they are, how they operate, what they do, and I for myself, I already know all that, but I wanted to know, what is the activity? What is it? My son was murdered 21 years ago, and there were only 10 police on the force. It was a hideous nightmare. And the amount of gangs were the same as what he said here the last time. Nothing changes. I know that because of my son's murder, there were injunctions made. And of course, I don't remember them all, but I don't know, does anyone remember any of those? Yeah. And I think they're probably being followed because you really don't see them walk in the streets and being together and stuff like that. But I would like to know that all of these reports that you give all the time, is it a lot of gang activity or is it just bad people? I want to know that. I want to see what's happening with that. And I know that Chief Henson made it clear that he can't tell us what and who and how, but he did. I was given a good general response, and I didn't get it with this person. He was wonderful, what he presented, but there was nothing that I wanted to hear.
Certainly. Well, I apologize for that, and I'll make sure the next report is more geared towards that. I can tell you just from right here, our gang activity as far as the crimes going on, it hasn't increased. If anything, there has been a decrease in it. But specific stuff, what we see when you look at the crime stats that I present to you folks there, no, the majority of that is not gang activity. The majority of that is crimes of opportunity. There could be a lot of it is narcotic driven, folks that are on narcotics and the thefts and stuff like that. What we do see with our shootings, and if you looked at the numbers on there, we haven't had a lot of firearm assaults. A lot of the shootings, there's usually some sort of gang nexus involved in that. Rarely is there a shooting that it's just a random type thing, but there are some. And then some of the robberies, though, some actual strong-arm robberies or robberies involving a weapon, a knife, or a firearm, or something like that, it's not unusual to see some sort of gang nexus in that. So, but I can make sure on the next report that we hit on that mark more so than the overall, what is a gang and what's going on and that type of thing for
I know, I
you.
appreciate that. Thank you very
Absolutely.
much. Thank you. Okay, that's good for
Okay.
me.
Anything else? No?
Well, if you give me a few minutes, I'll think.
Okay. Brian?
No, I'm happy. Oh, when you said 2 autos were stolen, am I not seeing it here on the report?
I think it's the very last one. It's other vehicles. So the last
Oh.
part of it's broken down from autos, trucks and buses, and then other vehicles. And so the other vehicles, that could be a boat. It
Am I
could be an
missing a
off-road
page or
vehicle, that
something?
type of thing.
Go all the way to the top, Donna.
Maybe it's,
There
oh, okay,
you
all
go.
right, you got it. I got it. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good, thank you.
Okay. Brian?
Chief, just quick question. Obviously, I like to follow social media, and, and a lot of people in Desert Hot Springs, listening or online as well. And as far as auto thefts, is there a certain amount? I mean, like trucks are for, but it seems like trucks are being more targeted. Is it more of a make or model? Why a certain truck, or is it more of a utility truck versus like autos altogether? Because I know you have it broken down. I don't see too many buses getting stolen around here, but
No, we had one last year, though.
wow. That's right on.
But yeah, trucks are popular, not necessarily a certain make. Trucks are definitely popular, especially out here at the desert and stuff, because a lot of them are then taken out into the desert and off-roading. A lot of it for joyriding type stuff, where they go and they're driving out in the desert, and then they just, once they crash them or get them stuck out there, then that's where they're at. But nothing that's a specific model or make that's really high-end that's being targeted out here. A lot of it is just, again, the majority of it is crimes of opportunity, and a lot of them are being recovered either in our city or within the neighboring cities. The county does have a raid unit that focuses on habitual auto thieves, and they are the ones, and I would have to check with them as far as, hey, what is the number one truck or automobile that's being targeted out there, which I can do. But they are the ones that are going after the habitual ones, the career criminals. What we're seeing, the numbers I'm giving you is really
Is there
in town
anything
here.
you could mention to the public that would be listening tonight or whatever, is it, to help deter that? Whether it's lights or make sure your truck's locked, or, because we're not sure, I'm not even sure what they're using nowadays. They're just, seems like they're that quick.
Yeah, a lot of what they're using is is the screwdriver, the bust in the lock, and then the brake ignition, and that's still the biggest popular one. They're more sophisticated criminals, the ones that like raid are going after, the ones that have the electronic stuff that can get into the electronic key and that type of stuff. But it's the same stuff. Folks need to, when they're parking your vehicle, if it's at your house, make sure that it's locked. If you have outside lights or motion sensor lights, I think if you watch on social media, a lot that gets posted is you'll see someone lurking around, and then one of those sensor lights will go off, and that startles them enough to run off. So folks can do simple things like that. And also, one of the things, I think they're still available, although I don't see them. I know I've still got one, is the club.
Yeah, you don't see too many
You know
people
what? Those
doing
are
these
great
days.
tools. They're not undefeatable,
Right.
but they're an extra layer on there that makes them take a little bit longer and stuff like that. But
Keeps them out on the public safety.
Yeah.
That's all I have, but thank
Takes
you.
them longer, yeah.
Okay. Ken or Lee?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Lee.
I just want to, along that same line, on the auto thefts and truck thefts, and I can't think of, for some reason, I can't think of that thing underneath the exhaust.
the catalytic converter.
Catalytic converter, do you have any of those?
We haven't had a huge rash of them. We do get them though, and a couple city council meetings ago, there was an ordinance passed here in the city as far as the catalytic converters, and I know the state legislature is working on a statewide law when it comes to catalytic converters in terms of who can possess them, recycling and that type of stuff. So we get some. I want to say, don't quote me on the numbers, but I'm pretty close, because when I did do the presentation at city council, and I looked at the last 2 years, and there were about 21 catalytic converter thefts.
Yeah, there's
within
certain
the city.
vehicles that cost more than others.
Yeah, they're an easy target to be
Very
taken off
easy.
vehicles, and then the whole point of taking them off is taking them for the recycling.
But you're just kind of,
But
that many.
yeah, we don't see that huge theft of them as in other communities, but it is a statewide problem.
It's bad. It's real bad.
That is being addressed both locally by local governments through ordinances, and then again by state through legislation.
Thank you.
Same with the manhole covers.
Yes.
Some of us,
Yeah,
some of
and
us do remember manhole covers getting
And I still,
stolen.
before I'm through, I still want to, but the traffic is a problem, we all know that. And I was just getting into that, but when I was mentioning the animal control, that's when I'm approached as a commissioner, and they know us, and they're always, it's always the same thing, speeding and too much of this and all that. That's where the animal control oh, by the way, the animal control, they're very happy with it. But what they wanted to talk about was the speeding. And for some reason, they think we can go over there and do something about it. We try to explain to them, it really is, it's just a problem that they're working on. That's about all I can tell them.
It is. It's a top priority for us. Obviously, we do have a traffic unit, even though right now it's down to one person. But the other officers, between calls and that type of stuff, our expectation is that they focus on traffic, and they do. But it is a priority for us, and it's kind of like we're talking with the hazmat thing. When the officer's sitting at a location working speed enforcement or something, then it's happening in the other part of town and stuff. Sometimes just being there present is the deterrent, but unfortunately we can't have an officer at every corner as much as that would be great. But it is a top priority for us that we continue to work on.
I realize that, and I tell the people that, and it just, they listen, but it's a constant thing. And I don't know how many times I went down the street and say, boy, I sure wish I could put a light on that car and pull it over.
Yeah.
Because they blow by me at 60, 70 miles an hour. 40.
Yeah,
They drive in that divider.
It doesn't go on deaf ears.
They go by me, I go, what was that? The guy's driving right down to the divider.
Yeah.
Well, you know that. So it's just something that I know you're working on it.
We will continue
And
to
it
do
will
so.
take time, and we just have to live with it. We'll do.
Yeah, and the other part, and we've talked about it, it comes down to people are adults, and they have a driver's license, and at some point, people have to take responsibility for their action. It's very much like drunk driving, and, we talk about drunk driving, and we see these accidents involving drunk drivers and stuff, and how long have we been talking about this as a society for as long as we have, and it still occurs, and unfortunately, the driving is still, some of it is young drivers, teenagers just getting their license and stuff. But then there's a lot where it's adults that know better. And it's, look, if you got to leave 5 minutes early to get to your location, to get to work, leave 5 minutes early, as opposed to putting your life or someone else's life in jeopardy. So it's a combination of that education and enforcement on our part, and then for the public itself, be aware and take that responsibility.
Many years ago, I went to a class that they were talking about, it was a traffic class, and they said if the human being, the person driving defensively, if he didn't use his head and had quick responses, all you'd have is collisions all the time. Because the person is going to, they see what's happening and they get out of the way or they stop. Otherwise, there'd be more accidents. It's a terrible thing, but I know you're doing your best.
We will
That's all I
continue to
can say.
thank you, sir. Yes.
Okay, Ken?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the catalytic converter. That was on the tip of my tongue. That just happened to a member of my family, as a matter of fact, up in Northern California, and a very nice young lady, my niece through marriage, and, she normally doesn't use the language that she did when she was able to witness this going on. And it was a surprise to me, but okay, but she's fine, and the car's repaired, and it's got a new catalytic converter, so I appreciate the commissioner for bringing that up. I just had a question. I remember the last meeting, we were talking about the potential increase in staffing in law enforcement, and was wondering if there was any blowback or any mention, information incoming as to what we discussed in the last meeting. Has there been any movement? Has there been any suggestions? Has there been any further discussion on that?
Yeah, so whenever you guys want, I will do an actual presentation. I've started to put together some numbers as far as what that would look like. I think the numbers we had talked about was 13 officers and a sergeant.
Yeah, I think, or 2 supervisors.
So I've been putting together numbers, both for what it costs in salary and then basically what it costs just to get an officer on the street. So, going through the backgrounds and equipping them and stuff.
Would that be something we could do in July?
We could, yes.
Boss is already ahead of us. So she's already ahead of us, so.
Confirmed.
she's so far ahead of us, the Chief Henson left, so. Yeah, they're already done. She already got it handled, so. Yeah, no, that's a great question, Ken, because I was going to bring that up too, but yeah, I think that'd be great to see that, and then we can go from there, so. Go ahead, I'm sorry, I
Oh, no,
interrupted you.
that was my question.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm done, thank you.
Okay. The only question I had is, and sometimes we hear like animal control's only at 79% of their budget, and everyone's like, oh yeah, that's great, and thinking, oh, now we have extra money, we can go blow on something else, but that's probably due to the fact that they've been short-staffed, isn't it? Would that be the reason why they're
Yeah,
pretty
you
much
see,
below where they should be?
a lot of that is salary money
Salary savings.
that hasn't been used, yes.
Yeah, just like if you were over budget, the first question we would ask is why, and it'd probably be overtime or something like that, so it does go the other way, though.
Yeah, overtime is a big, even for the PD, because a lot of that too is salary savings, even though we're right, excuse me, right about where we should be. But honestly, we do, and it's a conversation we have over in the PD side and the police side, is we do a lot with overtime because of our staffing, and because we're working hard trying to get the regular those numbers up, which we can talk more about obviously in July. But yeah, when you don't, then it's somewhere else where it's taking a hit, and overtime's usually a big one.
Okay, cool, all right. Yeah, thank you for clarifying that for us. So, all right, anything else for the chief? No? All right, go to final comments. Who wants to start? Donna? Go
Okay,
ahead.
I'll start. It was last month that I think, because I wasn't here, okay, it doesn't matter. Anyway, about the money that was allotted to the city with regard to the streets, we're going to change the two lanes to one lane from Pearson up to Mission Lakes, and I really think that's a bad idea. Who do we talk to about that? I think that one of the comments made to me was that, well, all these homes that, it's a nightmare backing out of their parking because it's right on the street. Well, if it's one lane, what lessens the nightmare? And even though they say the traffic is not as much, come on, all these things grow. It's taken 30 years, to get where we're at, and it's not going to stop growing. There's going to be more traffic. Everybody see how much traffic comes into the city every night to go home from wherever they're coming from? I don't get it. That's all. I'm really opposed to this. If we're spending all that money just because it was allotted to us, I'm sure we could think of something else to do with it. That's my big complaint. I don't know if anyone could say anything about that. Can you?
So I want to say, I believe it was Assistant City Manager Daniel Porras that gave that presentation.
Okay.
So I would, that's who you probably should, that's who you
Is
should
that-
speak to or answer your
Is
questions
that
to.
something you would like to see a presentation on?
Yeah, I want to hear it. I want to see
Okay.
what they're planning.
Is there a second commissioner who would like to have that presentation?
That's what I think we should do. I think we should have her, the young lady that was with maybe she gets them together and come and talk to us, kind of explain some answers where there's some questions that Donna has. I had the same thing, same kind of questions in a way, but it was explained the best they could do at the time, but we were kind of surprised at what it was, and I think we just need a little more information. What do you
Yes.
think?
What are you thinking, Carmen?
Donna?
July?
Yes.
Maybe she
Can
can
they
come
do
back
so-
here and
I agree.
talk
I
about
wanna
it
hear
again,
it.
and maybe she can answer your questions.
Okay, I agree. That's
Okay,
fine
can we
with me.
agendize that for the July meeting?
Confirmed.
Okay, thank you, awesome. See?
So who gets into, whatever,
Yeah.
Donna?
Because that's a big change.
I'm gonna be sick that day and you're gonna run the meeting.
You're going to be hobbling in here. You'll be.
I'll be
just fine.
hobbling in, yeah.
I think they're trying to slow some of the traffic down
Right.
in a way, but
Well, yeah, there could be
I
reasons
just-
for all of that, so, but I think it's a great idea to have them come in, because I went back and told my wife about that, and she had the exact same questions, and she's lived here her whole life,
I've
So.
been here for it since 62.
Yeah.
Shoot.
so.
Yeah. And then I've seen the city do changes to the streets in town, then they undo it, and then they do it again. We had cobblestones before, which was very pretty. And then they take it away, and then, I don't know.
Yeah, let's get a report and we'll
Let's
find
be
out.
serious, okay. So who
Okay.
gets in touch with this person? There you go, my
Yep.
friend.
You already agendized.
Okay, good. I'm done.
Okay, cool. Who wants to go next? Go ahead, Lee.
I have no more questions. I think what Donna wants done, I think is a good idea, because I was thinking the same thing, that the traffic, they need to come in and talk a little bit more about that, what they're trying to design and what they're trying to do. And I still want to hear about those lights around the stop signs. And I think they know that, they realize that, but that needs to be done. But it's a very big thing. And it makes such a big difference at where we've got them now. And where we don't have them, you really can tell the difference. So we should be able to, if they have a budget, they ought to try to at least stick that in there somewhere. That's all I got to say, Chief.
Okay. Ken?
Well, I have a couple of things in the works. We're still, some of the results of which are still pending. We're still waiting to talk to the Park and Rec Commission, perhaps Councilmember Nunez, about a safety campaign for our parks for the upcoming summer. You know, when school lets out, kids are going to be utilizing our park facilities, and we want to make sure that they do it in a safe manner. Remembering when they play baseball, to wear helmets, when they ride their bikes through, to wear helmets and things of that nature, and just how that would take shape, whether it would be a flyer campaign, whether it would be utilizing our YouTube channel or our government access channel. Well, waiting to see exactly how that's going to turn out. I understand what it means to be ghosted. I did ask one of the regional directors of AMR about some information regarding ambulance services, and I responded to him with some questions and didn't hear back. So, I'm being brought up to speed. I'm hoping to get in touch with that person as well. And finally, I think I brought it up at the last meeting that I believe we're approaching the 25th anniversary of the Desert Hot Springs Police Department. Yeah, we'd like to congratulate you, and perhaps we can get the city council to recognize, where they do the whereas, and henceforth, and have that embroidered or something, so that when your new facility opens up, we're going to have it framed and put right on the wall, right inside the vestibule there. And that's all I have, right?
Brian?
Well, first of all, I'd like to just thank every one of our departments, police, fire, code, animal control, for doing an amazing job for our city, and that's really all I had. And I'd like to see, as a city in general, we were talking again, more campaigning on getting us some officers. That's right on my top 10, but I know we're doing what we can do, but I'd like to see some billboards. I'd like to see a few more things happen. Desert Hot Springs is a great place to be, a great place to work, so that's all I had.
Okay, cool. Only thing, I've got two things real quick. Also for July, someone from the planning department and come in and maybe address the commission reference, what fire and police considerations are for the new warehouse building out on, 20th? Yeah, we had some really great conversation reference to Quint and this and that, and and then we had some good input from a couple community members reference, how are we gonna handle emergency services for this humongous building? So I think it'd just be kind of nice just to see some kind of proposal as to when we were. I don't want to get into the building's upside down or it's painted red. That's all planning commission stuff, and we don't have any business there. But I would kind of I've had some people ask me questions like, well, if we've only got 35 officers, and we got some big issue out there at the warehouse, how are we going to handle that? Or we have a fire, something, there's, who knows what the hell's going to go through that warehouse, right? So I think it's a good thing to bring up and just to have a general discussion about. I don't know if there's, like I said, when we asked, I don't believe we were told that we really had any input from our chiefs on that, and maybe this is a good time to have some input before we start turning dirt, right?
Yeah,
So-
I know they're still, that's in the process. It's obviously not a done deal or anything like that.
Right.
So I would just I would be more comfortable just kind of waiting until those folks that are working out those deals, or not deals, but working out the particulars of that, and then more can be discussed about it, and the particulars, I think could be discussed about it. I'm not sure how much information can be shared at this
Yeah.
point.
That's
in a
why I'm
public
thinking maybe
forum.
July, because it gives us a couple months gives them a couple months. But the problem is I don't want to wait too long until all of a sudden, oh, project's approved, and now we're kind of
Yeah.
left out in the cold,
And
so.
then, I know you won't be here in June, but certainly in June, if there's been a shift in it or where it's at, then I can advise and.
Sure, and if they want to agendize it for June, absolutely. I just, at the same time, I've seen these projects already get approved, and then we're behind the 8 ball trying to get them changed. And then there's, and we want to be open for business, so we don't want to be difficult for business. We're here to, but at the same time, I don't want to leave you guys short, not for a
Well, just-
project like that.
Just know from the fireside perspective, not talking about any specific project, just know that all projects, there's a certain size that triggers, fire marshal review, and on the operations side of the house, which I'm responsible for, we get alerted to every single development, and if there's any question or any issues, we look at those as a fire department team. We bring those concerns forward to, before the environmental impact study is completed. And then as a city team, we talk about how to mitigate those things. So just know from the fire side of things, you're very well represented, and I don't foresee any issues moving forward with any certain building.
Okay.
But
Yeah, the great thing about CAL FIRE is you guys have done all the Moreno Valley housing or warehousing. You've done all the stuff in Banning and Beaumont that's coming in. So you guys have that expertise there, but I'd still like to kind of see it, if you know what I mean. So just to make sure we're covered. And
Does that include like substations or something like that?
you know what? I don't know. It's up to the experts whether what their concept is or what they're looking for. And I have been getting inquiries about it. You're going to build this building that's like the size of the Pentagon. And I went to the Pentagon one night, and it wasn't an enjoyable experience. So I was there for Peace Officer Memorial Week, and I was lost. And fortunately, the officers there were super cool and got me to my hotel. But the deal is that this is a big project. And personally, I didn't hear anything about it until all of a sudden, boom, there it was. And you're like, yeah, let's ask some questions. It doesn't hurt to ask a few questions before we start turning dirt. So even though I've seen equipment out there, it almost looks like I don't know. So final thing, on a happy note, College of the Desert, the Public Safety Academy, we're holding our graduation for our fire and police academies on May 27th. It's a Friday night. It's going to be at the Palm Desert High School. We're graduating 11 firefighter recruits who are going to be fully certified to be firefighters. They'll have their EMS, EMT certification. They're ready to be hired. So we'll be graduating 11 of them, and we're going to be graduating 16 police recruits who are going to be certified for reserve duty officers. And I know that Desert Hot Springs Police Department has already been out there, talked to them once. I think you guys need to come out one more time. There's one more module I think you missed. But once again, dispatchers, right? Some of these people they're not going to eventually get to be police officers, but would they make great dispatchers? Yeah, I think so. Or great animal control or great code enforcement people for us, So and once they get done with Mod 3, they have all the certifications to do code enforcement and to do the animal control stuff. So it's going to be 6 p.m. It starts at 6 p.m. and it'll be out at the Palm Desert High School Performing Arts Center. So yeah, that's a happy thing. We're going to push. I'm really happy about the 11 firefighters because it's always hard to get that takes a year for these firefighter recruits to finish that training program to get that certification. So we're really proud of them. So there are people in the system coming through. So very excellent, some wonderful young men and women.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, no, don't congratulate me. They do all the work.
Congratulate them.
I do scheduling, right? I do scheduling, make sure they got stuff. So
Good work.
Yeah, but we're really happy. So, anything else for the good of the order? No? Okay. You're in capable hands next month?
Yep.
And don't call me and tell me you're going to be sick, right? So So, and we'll see everybody back in July, okay? All right.
And good luck on your
Indeed.
Oh, yeah, I've got my wife, she's the best nurse in the world, so just got to keep the French bulldog off of it, so. All right, everybody, thank you, good night.